Angela and Owen with you. Gosh, that was a bit of a sobering discussion we had, wasn't it, just then about Ukraine? We've just got to have courage here. Later, it's the papers and everything else we need to talk about. Find out why a pensioner has gotten into trouble over his annoying pet. It's a cockerel. Now, should all children get free lunches? All primary school children in London get one, and the mayor has said it's brought significant benefits for parents and children. He says it helps parents dealing with the cost of living crisis, but the mayor, claims schools have also seen improvements in behaviour. The scheme is currently in its second year, but it costs 140 million quid, and that's in London. In England, all primary school children in state schools get a free lunch in reception and years 1 and 2. You'd also get them if you're on certain benefits. But why don't we just cut to the chase and say, oh, and what about this? All school children get one. That's it.
100%. There's no better investment than that of investing in children, the future of this country on which we all depend. It removes the stigma. If you grow up, I grew up in state schools in Stockport. Obviously, I had friends on free school meals. There was a huge stigma attached to that. Free school meals at the moment only are for the very poorest, and actually there are many people in struggling families who don't get free school meals. People go, oh, what about the rich parents? We'll just tax rich people more. It's very easy to recoup that amount of money. It is good for behaviour, partly because it, for example, reduces abstentions. For example, people skiving off school because you always have a free meal when you're there at school. Yeah. And also, diet is absolutely critical for a child's education. At the moment, we have people going hungry because they don't have a proper diet. And educational attainment depends on properly fed kids. And I want to help struggling middle-income and low-income families with this. And I think it more than pays for itself.
What do you think?
I think it's not the best use of public money. I agree with Owen about the fact that, the idea of children going to school hungry, it is literally heartbreaking. And that always sounds such a cliche, but it's true. There is a system available where you can apply for school meals if you are financially in any way compromised. I think it's inefficient to subsidise free meals for everybody. If you ask people, and I know people whose kids go to schools where everybody gets free meals, there's an awful lot of waste, because this idea that, oh, kids will all go in and eat it, some kids don't want to have the school meals. I think there needs to be a more efficient way of using the money. Yes, there is a system whereby those that need the help absolutely can do it, and it can be done discreetly. I always took a packed lunch to school, not because of finances, although it was a good saving, because the school meals just did not appeal to me.
But
and
that's cold then, isn't it?
It was cold, but
cold food
I would rather have sandwiches with fillings of my choice than my parents pay for congealed meat and 2 veg. Some kids just won't eat
The point is, it's only through, we see this with the winter fuel payment. The only way you get everybody who needs the help they need getting it is through universal benefits. Because you agree with me, we agree on winter fuel payments. The reason we agree with that is because if you take away if you make it means tested, you always get people who are vulnerable who don't get the help they need. With this, as well as the kind of stigma and all the rest of it, it helps people appreciate the importance of food in terms of education.
I guess it's about this thing we always go back to, is universal benefits, and actually whether it sort of is a good thing that benefits are paid to everyone, no matter how well off they are. So the state pension is a classic example. The NHS doesn't charge you just if you're wealthy, but generally speaking, benefits are tested, because otherwise they're very expensive. Tony in Cornwall, do you think they should do this?
Oh, 100%, absolutely 100%. When I was a child, we used to get a free school meal during the day, but we'd get one in the school holidays as well. And can I just say, for some people, it's not a choice as well. The lady was saying, well, she preferred this or preferred that. But for some people, there's not a choice, and that'd be our only meal of the day. And there's still a lot of poverty around in this day and age, I couldn't support it more.
Okay, well,
a third of children,
yeah.
A third of children live in poverty, and they're not all eligible for free school meals. There's also the issue of neglectful and abusive parents of all incomes and backgrounds, and making all children dependent on their parents. And I think we should end that link. Okay,
Tony in Cornwall, thank you. Claire in East Sussex, what do you think?
Hello. I do agree with a lot of what Owen's been saying, but my biggest fear, would we be going down the same road as the winter fuel payment in a couple of years' time when the old coffers have run dry, and then we have to start bringing in means testing, and, you can upset a lot of people. And, I do appreciate, I've got 2 children, obviously they're older now, but I do appreciate the importance of having a decent meal. But on the other hand, it just worries me how this would turn out eventually.
Yeah, it's very interesting that if you make it universal, it does get expensive, and the next thing 10 years down the track is they just cancel it. That's the issue.
Before then, what you want to ensure is that the most vulnerable are targeted with the support that they need. So if the same pot of money is used for a much wider demographic, then how do you know that the quality of the food won't be diluted because you're buying in far greater quantities, and that somehow the vulnerable will in some way be overlooked? I mean, what you could have is an opt-in, opt-out. I mean, I suggested this about the winter fuel. If you are Mick Jagger, who we always use as our example, then opt in if you feel that you've paid taxes all your life, that you've contributed disproportionately to the tax system. What you forget when you talk about your millionaires all the time, Owen, and your billionaires, is they prop up the tax system because of the amount that they pay in.
Well, first, I mean, I don't know why they bring in more food. They're still providing the same amount of food to kids. It's about who pays for it. Anyway, with millionaires and billionaires, firstly, a lot of their wealth comes from people working. These businesses wouldn't exist if it wasn't for workers every single day doing a lot of hard graft. But the other point is...
Who get paid for that?
Well, yeah, but the companies make their profit out of these workers. That's how they work. But anyway, and the problem in this society is that the wealth created by so many people ends up in the pockets of a tiny few. Right. But we just tax rich people. You agree with
drifting off school meals. Okay, Tricia in Edinburgh, hi.
Hi.
What do you think?
I think we should do free school dinner meals.
For everyone.
To start with, it's a nonsense. In a country of our size and the amount of money in this country, we have hundreds of children who are not getting fed.
It's whether, as Owen says, and I'm not suggesting Owen's against it, but you will end up, if you give it to everyone, you will end up with very wealthy parents' children getting it, and maybe that feels wrong. I don't know.
I can understand why that is. People have to think about that. That doesn't resolve the fact that we have children who are not eating. I know people who cannot feed their children. Their children are being fed by friends, and they are working parents. We've got children who are arriving in school, not having breakfast. The dinner is the only thing they have. And in the summer holidays and Christmas and New Year, families don't even have that. This is our next generation. This is where our next generation of
maybe we all sort of agree on...
Yeah, and that's why I want to make sure that the money that's available goes to the people that need it. All those things you say, Tricia, are so true. And the problem is that as speaking as a parent or anybody that's spoken to people with kids, their kid comes home from school and you say, what did you have for dinner today? And they say, or dinner, as we say in Manchester, lunch, and they say, oh yeah, it was horrible. It was this, this and this. And you're thinking, well, hang on, I'm paying this much a week. Maybe I shouldn't be paying for their school meals. Maybe
But Angela, I'm still confused. I'm really confused. Why you agree, you say it should only go to those who need it, but you oppose the scrapping of winter fuel payment being a universal payment because you recognise that doing so means lots of people who need it won't get it, and the only way of avoiding that is make it universal.
That's why I'm saying, no, I disagree with the concept of the universality here. I'm saying there should be an opt-in or opt-out because that's an easier way of deciding. So therefore, as a wealthy parent, so-called, and if you feel stigmatised by the fact that somebody's paying for my child's school meal and I don't need to, I'll opt out.
You can opt out, OK.